Alright guys, welcome on back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a weapon that most people would probably refer to as the best weapon here in Black Ops 6 Zombies. The GS45 is also known as Sally and Forth, or the Mustang and Sally's, whatever you would like to call them. We're going to jump into a match of Liberty Falls here, and I'm going to take them up to round 52 in exfil and see how they do, and I'm also going to take on the Terminus boss, see just how the GS45 is keeping up here in Season 2 Reloaded. It's still one of the best guns in the game, or has it fallen from grace a little bit? We're going to talk about all that and more. With all that out of the way, if you guys are into Zombies content, do me a huge favor, rock the hell out of that like button for me, and subscribe to the channel, guys. We are only about 50 subscribers away from 27,000 subscribers here on the channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. Jumping right in here, I gotta say, I still think that the GS45s feel really good. Some people are kind of speculating and thinking that the GS45s ended up suffering a nerf sometime during Season 1 or Season 2 in the beginning, which really kind of led people away from using these things a little bit. After doing a little bit of research and going through all the previous patch notes, I couldn't find any nerfs to the GS45s. Now, if you guys remember, during the launch of Black Ops 6 Zombies, a lot of the weapons just really did not feel good at all. A lot of the ARs and SMGs just really kind of felt like they were struggling. If you were playing Black Ops 6 Zombies, there was basically two main guns that you were rocking. You were either rocking the GS45s or you were rocking the ASG shotgun. But Treyarch did see a lot of this feedback, and they ended up trying to bring up a lot of the other weapons to feel on par with the other ones. To do that, they went in and ended up buffing a lot of the ARs and SMGs just to make them feel a little bit more useful here in Zombies. I remember the ARs in particular actually suffered a lot from this, and they feel a whole lot better now. So we've also seen the introduction of a lot of DLC weapons which really feel good in Zombies. You got the Siren 9mm, which is one of my favorite guns to bring in here. You got the AMR Mod 4, which after you pack a punch, it just has some crazy pack a punch abilities and just does some insane damage against the bosses. You also got to remember that when this game launched, we only had Terminus and Liberty Falls. It didn't matter whether you were just trying to go for maybe some high rounds or you wanted to complete either one of the quests on either one of the maps, you could do it with the GS45s really easily. I think at this point what's kind of happening is that with them making everything else feel a little bit better, just kind of made these things feel a little bit worse, even though that's not really the case. It just kind of feels like they are because everything else around them is getting better. When we got our very first DLC map, Citadel Daymore, the GS45s were still in the spawn room, but the funny thing with this map is when you got to the boss fight, the boss was immune to explosive damage. Trying to complete the main quest with the GS45s was almost nearly impossible. I think around this time, Treyarch knew that the GS45s were kind of dominating the Black Ops 6 Zombies scene. They just kind of want to steer people in the direction of using other weapons. Once we ended up seeing the tomb, they ended up leaning into this extra hard by removing the GS45s out of the spawn room. And on top of removing the GS45s out of the spawn room, the boss in the tomb was also immune to explosive damage. I think this was their most recent attempt at trying to get people to use other weapons. If you've been consistently playing Black Ops 6 Zombies throughout the DLC lifecycle, and if you've been playing the more recent experiences, they really just don't want you to use the GS45s. I think this is Treyarch's attempt at trying to get people to use other things without nerfing what we love into the ground. While it may not be the best choice for those experiences, and I'm referencing either the Tomb or Citadel, it's still probably the best choice for you for either Terminus or Liberty Falls. They're just incredibly easy to use, especially for clearing out larger hordes in those higher rounds. If you don't plan on completing the boss fight in either one of the newer maps, you can still take the GS45s in those and still just grind out some decently high rounds. So we also know that Double Tap will be coming to the game very soon, and I think that that will just make these guns insane. I really kind of think as of right now, it's really just kind of preference and what you plan on doing here in Black Ops 6 Zombies, whether you plan on taking on Liberty Falls or Terminus. I think these are definitely still one of the best, and especially for the newer players to the game, I think that these are really easy to use. Just remember, you do have to get PhD floppers so you don't get any of that splash damage. With these, you really don't even have to worry about headshots or critical kills or anything like that. You can just spam them at the ground. They're just very new player friendly. I'm sure as we go into the mansion that's about to drop here on April 3rd, there's going to be a bunch of these Zombies YouTubers and everybody that's going to be going in here for their very first run, and they're going to be grabbing the GS45s. I can almost guarantee it. We'll have some that'll grab an AR, maybe some will grab like the Siren or something like that. There's going to be a lot of people that are grabbing the GS45s for their very first run on this map, even though the last two maps have been resistant to explosive damage for the boss. And I can definitely honestly see why though. As you guys can see right here, we're on round 49, still absolutely just tearing through zombies. To be perfectly honest, there's not too many guns in this game that can go past round 50. They just ultimately in the 40s, they really start struggling. That damage drop off for most guns is just insane. Hopefully Double Tap will end up kind of mitigating this a little bit. I'm wanting another strategy in this game to get to round 100 without having to depend on nothing but score streaks or a wonder weapon. Even if it's not round 100, if I could even get to just, let's say, you know, like round 70 or 80 just by training zombies around in a circle with Double Tap and my weapon, I would be more than happy with that. Now here we are, we're about to exfil on round 52. Definitely still one of the best guns in the game, guys. guys, don't be sleeping on these things because you hear a bunch of rumors, everybody's saying that they got nerfed and everything. I personally don't think that they've been touched. I just think a lot of the other guns in the game have gotten a lot better than they were at launch. That surprisingly good shock of just how good these pistols actually are, it doesn't hit like it did back then. Now we're heading on over to Terminus to go take on Patient 13. These pistols still do amazing with damage in this guy. The one cool thing that I really like about it too is that you can still do a lot of damage even without hitting him in those critical areas. So I would still definitely advise you to aim for those glowing red spots, but even if you miss, you're still going to be doing like 3,000 damage, which is kind of crazy. Plus, during this boss fight, you're going to have so many other zombies that are spawning in all around you, and just it's really nice to be able to clear these guys out really easily. The first phase ended up going a little bit longer for me here because I wasn't rocking napalm burst, but I do have dead wire on, so the second phase ended up going really quick. And of course, for the third phase, we hid behind one of the boxes, popped our chopper gunner, ended up taking down about half of that health, and to finish him off, we ended up jumping into the water and going towards his back and then shooting him in the head. If you get behind him and shoot him up at an angle, you can still hit those eyes and do a lot of critical damage. He just had this tiniest sliver of health left, so I had to jump back in the water, go fill up on some ammo. That is my one gripe that I do have to say about these things, is that I have to get ammo all the time. What's a little bit more prevalent when you're in a boss fight like this, if you're just running around the map killing zombies, you got Vulture's 8 on, it's not gonna feel too terrible, but if you're in a boss fight like this where it's a little bit more constricted, you're definitely gonna feel it. After we filled back up on ammo yet again, it was just a couple more shots and he was finally dealt with. I definitely do still think that this is one of the best weapons to use here in Black Ops 6 Zombies. If you guys just checked out my recent top 10 best weapons to use in BO6 Zombies, if you haven't, you guys should check out that video. The GS45s ended up placing at number 9 on that video, and the reason why I ended up placing it so low on the list is just because of its usability in the recent maps. If you love Call of Duty Zombies and you play this game somewhat regularly, you're probably more likely playing the newer content more often, means you're probably going to be steering away from these things a little bit. An example of this is that, like, I put the AMR Mod 4 at number 2, and the reason why I did that is because of the insane damage that it does against the Citadel boss and against the Tomb boss. Now, it also does crazy damage against zombies, but if I'm just looking for a weapon to easily run around and clear out some hordes of zombies and some higher rounds, I'm choosing the GS45s every day. I do think it does have a really close contender with the Siren 9mm. I absolutely love that gun. If you haven't tried out that gun either, that's another one I highly recommend you guys try out. Since it's like a pistol SMG hybrid thing, the movement and handling accuracy, everything on it is just insane. Plus the power is crazy. Siren will definitely have no problem carrying you up into the 50s all by itself without the use of a wonder weapon or any score streaks or anything like that. Ultimately, I think that right there is some of the reason why some people don't think these things feel as good as they used to, is because they're starting to get some other contenders in here that are almost feeling just as good. Let me know what you guys are thinking about all this down in the comments section. I would love to know. Loadout for the GS45 is going to be up on the screen right here for anybody that wants to go ahead and check it out. Greatly do appreciate all of you, especially if you made it this far into the video. You guys are legends. Drop a like on it if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if anybody is new. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one.